Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to today's edition of RE320, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called The Not-So-Deathworlders, written by chipathing. The human looked at me, big expecting smile on its face, and a plate of pastry covered in red sauce and dangerously hot dairy products on the table. I crooked my head, looking at it with one eye and then the other, trying to understand what exactly the human was expecting to happen. We'd found this species on a nitrogen-rich mudball of a planet, and ever since we've uplifted them, they've been nothing but headache after diplomatic incident after headache. I'm not a major government official, quite the opposite, merely an interrogation agent whose superior has seen fit to punish me by way of assigning me permanently to the human file. So you can understand why I am frustrated. Anyways, for the past 2 months, I've been dealing with the humans whose overly long names I haven't bothered to remember. My latest case file I hadn't gotten along with well in our correspondences. It was clear things were ungood between us, and I suspect that this edible scalding hazard was his attempt at restoring car/human relations. I'm not sure why he did this, since I have a beak without any molars and my body has no ability to digest dairy and processed grains, made a trip to the bathroom resemble an extinction-level event. What exactly is this? I asked it bluntly, feathers ruffling under my administrative robes. The human spread its lips and revealed its still unnerving mouthful of teeth. Was he threatening me? "It's pizza," it said in a loud and enigmatic way. My tertiaries, nearly fully ruffled by now. Was everything the species did loud and otherwise as subtle as a supernova? "Right," I muttered, vocal synthesizer in my throat prompting errors as it tried to figure out what tone to use. I was in a similar position. "Pizza." "It's quite good," the human assured me. My eyes flicked up and down at the pizza and then at the human's face. This had to be a joke. "I'm sure," I said, putting up several forms for the human to fill out. The human reached its unbearably hairy hand under the pizza and peeled a wedge of it off. It cupped its still burning hot pastry with streaming sauce and without hesitation opened its maw to bite down on the slice, its mouth opening and closing repeatedly as it fought to cope with the temperature of the food. Was this some sort of pain endurance ritual? "It's quite good," the human said through a molten ball of pastry in pain. The human was disturbingly hung up on me eating the pizza. Sighing, I rolled my eye and pulled a piece of it off. I'd take a bite or two, admit defeat, and then proceed with the paperwork so that I could get back to my home where I'm sure my mate will be waiting to foist the chicks on me while she worked on her fan fiction. Balancing the haphazard food on my talons, I took a bite with my beak, wincing as the scalding hot dairy and vegetable paste made contact. I retracted my tongue as far back as it would go, and panted while the mass of oily pizza rolled around my beak, scalding whatever it touched. What possible purpose could such a torturous foodstuff have? When the glob in my beak had cooled down enough, I gingerly tasted it. Aged and spiced meats, very fatty, not bad. Some sweet-tasting vegetables for additional flavoring. My internal secretary noted the plant matter unscheduled a small delivery of digestive aids and supplements. I rolled the food around my mouth and made a show of swallowing it for the human. "So," the human asked excitedly, leaning forward. I cleared my throat and took a long breath. "It was awful," I told it. I had a sheet digitized in front of the human and prepared to continue the integration process. "Anyways, I'll need you to sign here and here, saying that you understand that you'll have to apply for a Federation citizenship within 5 microcycles otherwise." The human interrupted me. "What do you mean it's awful?" it asked. "I mean, it was almost exclusively plant matter, and I find plant matter to be disgusting, owing to me and my entire species being carnivores. Or did that fact slip by you?" Its lips flapped as it looked around, distraught. But it's pizza. Everyone likes it." "I'm sure on Earth it's a hoot, but you're not on Earth anymore. Please sign here." I pushed the digitized sheet to the human, a pen floating to the human's hand. "Why just—" The human went quiet. "Just what?" I asked. "I always imagined everyone would like pizza," muttered the human. "Everyone always thinks they're so special," I muttered back. The human summoned its power of observation to realize I'd made a remark at him. This, combined with me having a goal to criticize his foodstuff my species was not meant to eat, must have been the final stone, because he stood up from his seat, with his palms on the table. "What exactly is your problem?" he said angrily. I sighed, and my internal secretary primed a panic signal to the office security. I leaned forward and crooked my head to one side, so I could be eye to eyes with him. "My problem, human, is that you and every other race we uplift seems to think that you're all the universe's gift to our galaxy." That seemed to hit a sore spot because the human backed away and looked at me slightly confused and angry. I wondered if that was the face of a human made when they started thinking. "I bet you feel all full of yourself with your superior technology and galaxy-spanning empire, but I came from Earth," the human declared triumphantly. I ruffled my feathers sarcastically. "I'm sure it is as characterful as you are," I said. "Now, if you just sign this visa so I can show you out." "You probably don't know the first thing about Earth or humans," he continued. Oh boy, we were going here for a while. My internal secretary scheduled a chick sitter app. While the human spoke, I downloaded the human entry on Encyclopedia Galactica. After I made sure it wasn't rifled with errors, I cleared my throat and waited for the human to finish up. "And we have lots of art and theater, and we fought a ton of wars, and we're really passionate, and I bet your race doesn't have a pack bonding like we do." "Are you done?" I asked. "Well, I was going to bring up that I'm pretty sure that we're awesome lovers, but," I interrupted, "does yours vibrate?" I'm sorry, what?" "Does yours vibrate? It's a simple question, human," I repeated. No, but..." I leaned back in my chair. "The humans are not the greatest lovers in the galaxy," I said. "Anyways..." "Wait, does yours vibrate?" it asked. "Look, I hate to break this to you, but I don't work here for the thrill of helping fresh off the monolith types like you. I don't have time to talk about whose bits do or don't vibrate." I brought up a few folders in human history and did a quick skim through the important centuries, while the human was sitting down and finally signing his damned visa. That's a lot of wars," I said. The human looked up. Perhaps the mere mention of war was enough for them to get excited. Who knew with the young races? "We're really good at fighting them," it said with pride. I nodded slowly. "And, that's a good thing?" I asked, genuinely curious what sort of response I was going to get. The human noticed my apprehension at the mention of war. "Oh yeah, our high gravity and challenging weather means that we're built tough and strong. I've heard that we can punch clean through most races." "Try me, human," I said bluntly. "And more to the point, I'm somewhat curious how dangerous you think your planet is." This lit the human right up. "Oh man, I bet you've never seen something like Earth. We've got parts of the planet that can change from 30 degrees Celsius to -50. "Ah, yes," I nodded. "The dreaded climate. I'm quivering in my puny xeno booties." No, we have like these tiny insects that can spread a whole host of diseases, and we have lions and bears and..." "So you have parasites and apex predators on your planet?" I asked. "Yeah," the human agreed. "And our bodies are just full of bacteria to help with our function, and we have latent stuff in our bloodstreams." "An immune system? Is that what you're trying to describe?" Yes." I sighed, suddenly a lot less angry and just sorry for the poor fool. "Listen," I glanced at his name on the file for the first time. "Michael Jenkins. I'm sure you're proud of your race, but sentient life has very strict criteria, and civilizations many more so. You have to be a planet that's difficult to live in to get anywhere." "But Earth is..." I cut him off. "A Class A garden world that, given how your race treated it, should be under protective custody." "So, we're, normal?" he asked. I nodded again and slid another document across the table for him to sign. "Like you said, humans have fought a lot of wars." Once again, the human lit up. I knew I shouldn't have said anything. "So you're saying that I should join the army?" he asked excitedly. "Do you have any prior military training?" "No." "So what makes you think that you'd be accepted?" "Humans are good at fighting." I prayed to the great crow to throw either brains or rocks at this human as long as they hit their mark. "Human soldiers are good at fighting. Have you considered getting a writer's grant? You clearly have an active imagination." The human took my suggestion and ended up taking a digital copy of the grant application. I bid him good day and requested that he take his nauseating pizza with him. I sighed with relief when he walked out of my office. My internal secretary called forth the next applicant. Another human walked in, 2 bumps on its chest and hair dyed blue. She cautiously stepped forward and remained quiet as she gently sat on the seat when offered. Hopefully, she'd be more courteous. Now, Miss Amanda, you're applying for a travel visa, is that correct? She nodded. I crooked my head. Are you all right to speak? I asked. In the faintest whisper, she leaned forward and said, I just don't want to hurt you with my voice, she said. What? I asked her to elaborate, which, to the detriment of my own brain cells, she did. I know aliens can be fragile, and I don't want to speak too loudly. I've heard that we can shout you guys apart, and I don't want to do that. Head, meet, desk. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.